What's up, my guys? And welcome back. I'm your host, Cody. Vamos a hablar de las luchas. Did I say that right, baby?
Hi, Cody.
I guess not, man. She treat me like Dominic over here. I tell you what. Well, like I said, welcome back to the show, the Wrasslin Report Card. And what we do here is I take a wrestling show. I break down every match. I give them each a letter grade. And at the end, I tally them some bitches up to give that show its own report card. And tonight, we're doing the week in review for WWE as I break down and grade both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. So as y'all can tell, we got a lot to talk about. So without further ado, go on and buckle up, because it's going to be a bumpy ride, and let's get to grading, my guys. Speaking of ex-con, darn, we actually kicked this sumbitch off tonight as he comes down to the ring with the women's champion, Rhea Ripley, who is the last of the 4 major champions to get her one of them their brand new championship titles. And I tell you what, that sumbitch was shiny right there. But we go from that, and we switch gears over into Cody Rhodes comes out, and check this, at Money in the Bank 1-on-1, it will be Cody Rhodes taking on Dominic Mysterio. And I tell you what, I feel like that's going to be a banger right there. And I got to admit it, man, I think I'm becoming more and more of a Dominic fan. Y'all can judge me all you want. I'm going to slap a B on that sumbitch. And we go from that straight into Cody Rhodes taking on The Miz. And I tell you what, 2023 Miz is better than prime Kenny Omega. I don't care. You can go argue with your uncle and him. The dude has been on a run, but unfortunately, he ran into the buzzsaw that is Cody Rhodes. At the end of the day, he hit him with the Cody Cutter, followed by the Crossroads, and ain't nobody kicking out of that, my guy. And that was a solid match. Like I said, I'm going to slap an A- on that sumbitch. Now let's go over to the women's division as you got Chelsea Green taking on Becky Lynch in our first Money in the Bank qualifying match of the night. And you got the curious Zoe Stark up on the ramp who gave a interesting promo. That's still my girl though, don't be hating on her too much before the match, but we get into it, and these two ladies were out there just throwing down. I tell you what, but at the end of the day, after a beautiful transition into the disarmer, Becky Lynch applied that, and ain't nobody getting out of that, my guy. Chelsea Green had no choice but to tap, and that was a great match right there. I'm gonna slap a B on that sumbitch. Now let's jump over to our second Money in the Bank qualifying matches. You got Damian Riddle, my dumb ass, Damian Priest taking on his boy Matt Riddle. And I tell you what, these two right here don't miss. They go way back. And if you heard this week, we've had multiple rumors of Randy Orton making his return. And tonight, if you listen, you heard Matt Riddle just yell stupid like Damian Priest was Kofi Kingston or something. But hey, at the end of the day, it was Riddle who looked stupid because Damian Priest picked that sumbitch off the ropes, hit him with the Razor's Edge, rest in peace Scott Hall, and ain't nobody kicking out of that, my guy. And we wasn't done there, because after the match, out came Gunther, and Damian Priest looked him in the eyes and said, "Pick the bones." Man, I don't know, that just sounded like that was on some scary movie shit right there. I tell you what, that was a great match though. I'm not lying. Those two do not miss. I'm gonna slap an A on that sumbitch, but we gonna keep it moving, because up next, we got Ricochet taking on Bronson Reed once again in the love triangle with those two and Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, it was some good action, but to no surprise, Shinsuke interrupted, so Bronson won by DQ. Now you got Ricochet kind of mad at Shinsuke, and they both still teamed up to hit that big sumbitch Bronson Reed with a massive superplex from the ropes. And I tell you what, that had the crowd on their feet right there. That was pretty cool, but it does feel like this is kind of just an ongoing storyline where we're just interchanging Shinsuke and Ricochet and still getting the same results in the matches with Bronson Reed. But hey, it is what it is. I'm still gonna slap a B- on that sumbitch, and we still got some more to cover, because up next, you got the World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins in the ring, and out comes his now official challenger at Money in the Bank, Finn Balor. And you know the history here. 7 years ago, Finn Balor beat Seth Rollins to become the first ever Universal Champion, but Seth ended up injuring him in the match, so they were talking about that. And I gotta tell you, it's about fucking time, huh? These two came out and absolutely served on the mic, with Seth getting the last laugh. But Seth better not laugh too much, because it's not smooth sailing, because on Tuesday, it will be Seth Rollins defending that World Heavyweight Championship on NXT against Braun Breaker. And you know that's going to slap right there. I'm going to have to tune into that. For that segment right there, though, I'm going to slap a B+ on that sumbitch. Now let's keep going. Up next, we go back to the women's division as you got Raquel Rodriguez going up against Shayna Baszler. And don't get me wrong, Shayna, that's my guy right there, but we can't have Raquel out here losing, man. Like, come on. Even though Ronda got involved, like, man, I ain't gonna lie, I was pretty salty at that right there. I'm gonna slap a C- on that son bitch. I mean, hey, be mad at me all you want, but Raquel should not be losing. Up next, we got Eric taking on my guy, my number one guy, Chad Gable. Thank you. And I tell you what, is Chad Gable out here picking up dubs? That's what I'm talking about right there. I hope we really get my guy a push. And this is going to be completely biased, but I'm slapping a B- on that son bitch. But that's enough time for the talk, because it's time for the main event. You got the tag team titles on the line as you got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn going up against Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. And you know he got the freshest turtleneck on this side of the Mississippi. I think Christian Cage is over there in Jacksonville. That's the only reason I say that. But hey, anyways, once again, you had Gunther out here just beating the dog shit out of everybody. I tell you what, then towards the end of the match, Riddle came out and he ended up causing enough of a distraction, which allowed KO to take out Gunther. And back in the ring, Sammy hit the Blue Thunder powerbomb, and he actually picked up the win with it, which should definitely happen more often, because that move right there is nice. It's one of my favorites. And yeah, that was a great match right there. I'm going to slap an A- on that son bitch. And hey, y'all know what part of the show we got to. We got all the grades in. Now let's check out the report card, my guy. After tallying everything up for the June 12th edition of Monday Night Raw, we came out with a final letter grade of a B. That's right, an 85%. I tell you what, that was a pretty solid episode right there, other than Raquel losing. But now let's jump over to Friday Night SmackDown. And I tell you what, we kicked this sumbitch off right here with the tag team gauntlet match. I think you had 6 teams in there. Now, I'm as big as a Sheamus fan, if not more than the next guy. And this thing had some great action. But to have Sheamus and Ridge the Fridge beat the Street Profits, LWO, and Gallows and Anderson, don't even get me started on Top Dollar. I mean, come on, my guy. I don't know if that's good for business or what. Now, they did end up losing to Pretty Deadly in the final match. And I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not 100% sold on those two, but hey, it's something new, and I thought that was a pretty solid action right there. I'm gonna slap a B on that sumbitch. Then, after the match, you still have Pretty Deadly in the ring, and they got interrupted, thankfully, by KO and Sami Zayn. And I'm gonna be honest, I think we all could have lived without that segment right there. I don't think Pretty Deadly was over at all with the crowd, so I'm gonna slap a C- on that sumbitch. I'm still curious to see what those two can do, because they are really good in the ring. And then next, let's jump over to the women's division, as we got our first qualifying match of the night for Money in the Bank. It's Zelina Vega taking on Io Sky, and thanks to her homegirl Bayley, Io Sky ended up losing to Zelina Vega. And I'll tell you what, I'm happy about right there. She got La Chancla, baby. Let me make sure my girl ain't around. She gonna throw another one of them son bitches at me. I'll tell you what. But I'm gonna slap a C+ on that son bitch. And then next, we got the Grayson Waller effect, where anything can happen. And tonight, his special guest is Charlotte Flair, who is the #1 contender for Asuka's belt at Money in the Bank. And guess who ain't happy at all about that? That's right, Bianca Belair. And yeah, she came down, and I'm not gonna lie, Charlotte got on the mic and did her thing, but once Bianca got the mic, she said, hey, I just had the title for over a year, and it didn't take me 14 times to do it. Put some respect on my name, damn it. And I'm just gonna say this, let Grayson Waller run the AEW's women's division, because I tell you what, every time he comes out, shit just hits the fan, my guy. I'm gonna slap an A on that sumbitch. I thought that was great right there. Really does a lot for that women's division over there, because you didn't even have the title out there. They mentioned that. Well, now we're going to jump over to some mixed tag team action, as you got AJ Styles teaming up with Mia Yim as they're taking on Karrion Kross and Scarlett. And I tell you what, Karrion Kross pinned AJ Styles, and Twitter exploded with hate. I tell you what, it was like the final Avengers scene in Endgame when everybody was coming together to shit on that man. I don't get it. I think the guy's actually pretty solid. I like him. I mean, he ain't main event worthy, but I think he's got some potential. Well, I'm gonna slap a C+ on that sumbitch. With all that being said, next we got LA Knight. Yeah, he's coming down the ring, and he interrupts Santos Escobar by shoving down Rey Mysterio. So those two start fighting, and Yeah, LA Knight lost. I don't care what else has to do with that. LA Knight lost. Yeah, it was a pretty good match. But with that being said, why we got this guy out here losing and why is he still a heel? Like, push this guy to the moon. I mean, it's a simple solution. So I'm gonna slap a C+ on that son bitch, but I'm gonna get off my soapbox because that's enough of the talk because it's time for the main event. That's right. You got the tribal chief Roman Reigns in the house, and he's giving his cousin Jey Uso the ultimatum. Are you in the bloodline or are you out the bloodline? Roman said, hey, I got us to the promised land, and in the future, it's going to be up to you to keep us here in the promised land. And the wise man, he ain't the problem, but your brother Jimmy is. So Jimmy heard his name backstage, and you know how wrestling rules go. He came out once he heard that and said, hey, I'm not the problem. Our cousin is the problem. You got the crowd going crazy. They're chanting the Usos. Roman looks at them and says, they wasn't chanting that 10 years ago. Hell, it took 10 years just to get y'all in to WrestleMania to get a match. And now you're main eventing every pay-per-view known to mankind. And you can't, he looked at Jay and then said, you can't be a tribal chief and a twin at the same time. Like when me and Paul named you the right-hand man, who was the only one with an issue with that? Who was it, wise man? And he looked straight over at Jimmy, and Jay had no idea. I didn't either. Who looks at his own brother and said, is it true? Is it true? And Jimmy didn't lie to him. He said, yeah. So Jay finally started coming to his senses, started spazzing out to his brother, acknowledging his tribal chief, and said, Jimmy, you out the bloodline. And guess what? I am too. Schmack. Jey Uso just super kicked Roman Reigns. I tell you what, his Solo was looking there just stunned. And if he wasn't stunned enough already, he then ate like 2 or 3 double super kicks to the jaw. That laid him out. Then Roman starts coming to, and those bastards super kicked him again. Like, how you gonna do that to the man that got you there? Like, y'all know that's my guy right there. And as much as I hate that, that was cinema. It was cinema. That's all I gotta say. I'm slapping an A+ on that son bitch. Roman Reigns has had the best title run in maybe the history of the WWE. Everything he's done, every beef he's been into has been must watch. And did you see the crowd when he came out? You know, even if you don't like him, you gotta admit that only the big time stars get those types of reactions right there. Roman Reigns, he's made it, my guy. I tell you what. Well, y'all know what part of the show we've gotten to. We got all the grades in. Now let's take a look at the report card, my guy. After tallying everything up, we came out with a final letter grade of a B-. That's right, an 83%. And I gotta be honest, man, that did feel like a top-heavy episode of SmackDown, but that Roman Reigns segment, as well as the Grayson Waller effect with Charlotte and Bianca, those was gold right there, my guy. Well, I tell you what, I'm your host, Cody. I'm signing off. If you haven't already, please like, comment. You could even subscribe if you haven't done that. That would be pretty dope right there. And you know the music, that's OG Bobby Knifehawk. You know where to find him on SoundCloud. Other than that, I hope all you BEA beautiful folks stay safe out there and have a nice day.